Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Now on the channel you often see 1v1s that tend to go on for quite a while. We're talking 20 minutes to 30 minutes and so on. But realistically that's not what most of the 1v1s you will play will be. Most 1v1s will probably be decided within the first few minutes of the match by one really good play, one very efficient play. And because of that, will tend to not have matches that last that long. So today we've got a couple of videos, or a couple of replays, sorry, of what you should actually expect in a normal game, where, you know, it doesn't drag on forever. So today we're on Prismatic Anomaly for the first one. We have Zlo playing Armada in the bottom left corner, choosing to go vehicle, and just a reminder, there is no wind on this map, so of course they will be building solar. And their opponent here, Raxel, we've seen quite a few times on the channel as of late. Legion here does not need to build as many solars due to the fact that his metal extractors here produce energy, but he's in a good position to spread out. But being vehicles means he's going to need metal, and by having to build solars and producing less metal from your extractors means that he's not going to have anywhere near as much metal as his opponent will have. Will that cost him the game? Well, let's find out. Slow with some early scouts out already and a single blitz by the looks of it, whilst expanding with a single con. Two cons out though from Raxel, already getting one metal extractor up. Very similar timing here. Raxel has a foregone multiple scouts. Actually, saying that, that's a lie. They both have 2 scouts each, and are pretty much mirrored at this point, with the exception that Raxel has an additional metal extractor to be built. This scout will manage to claim that metal extractor that has only just been built, though. No forces will be able to react quick enough. And you're seeing it's taken this extra 2 metal extractors to even be on par with Zlo. So losing a metal extractor for Legion is quite a big hit. More than you would figure. Raxel has chosen to expand with his commander though to try and make up this limiting factor, but with no LLTs being built anywhere, and this map being quite a wide open map, some scouts are making their way through, and Zlo has found yet another empty metal extractor. And due to the fact that a con is being produced in the factory, there are no units nearby or even being produced here that have an ability to stop this. And you can see that the Alarises just get absolutely shredded by blitzes. Axel slow to react, and this rover will manage to get the metal extractor. Oh, we sent units down, I forgot them. Oh, Pokey Mexes. Yeah, that would do a job, wouldn't it? That one's not currently cloaked, though. I don't quite know why. Scout is able to what, they give energy? What, since when has that been the thing? I didn't know they made 80 energy. It's a huge amount of metal energy, rather. To pay for its own cloak, probably, but still, like, that is a lot of energy to be given up. They don't cloak, though. What? They used to cloak. What's going on? Why aren't they cloaking? On? They give 4 solars worth of energy. Who knows? Who knows what's going on there? Now approaching the 5-minute mark, and neither player is in really a strong position here, although saying that a very large amount of Alarises have managed to make their way through the middle of the map. At the same time, we see a group on the right hand side of blitzes, but this might be dangerous for Slow. Does Slow have any radar? No. Only just about to spot them. Now, what is he going to do? There's 9 Alarises here. Slow is pulling his forces back in an attempt to defend. The pressure directly outside of Slow's base. Although it looks like he's falling back. And these guys you see now just not really doing anything here. They go trying to kill that Twitcher. Top right hand corner was cleared out. Top left hand corner was cleared out. Metal second is advantage Slow at the moment. Just single blitzes are managing to make their way through. And Slow pulling the GG. It's due to the fact that Slow's expansion is being constantly cut off.
Commander has self-destructed. Battle ended.
Wow, and with that, Slow loses. Vax are just able to control him well enough, and that's done the job for him. You can see the metal was all over the place, but it was very close. Active units, that's the biggest difference. Look at the amount of units that Raxel had. Vast amount more than his opponent. Okay, on to the next game. Okay, here we are, match 2 on Feast of Hades. Raxel again versus Flying Duck. Raxel is Legion again, and Flying Duck has also chose to go on Legion. Now, this map we've seen many times on the channel. So if you're new here, just as a small reminder, we have a higher value metal point there, and then again in the top corner. So 1.9 everywhere else on the map, with the exception of these 3 points on the map where there are 2 sets of free metal. Now, in a long running game, this would be an area of contention. Also, there are lots of crystals around to provide energy, but otherwise the map is generally flat. So there's not really a need to build bots for anything other than building it specifically for res bots. But as we look at both players, we do have wind on this map. Flying Duck building 1 solar into winds whilst his con builds, and then going straight into Alarises. Whereas Raxel here has built 2 solars into winds and is only building cons as of yet. Both players did get a scout out beforehand, but I mean, technically the scout could get on this side of the winds and cause some problems, but then it goes to the south side and should be picked up by the comm. Yep. Raxel walking his comm, I'm about to say away from the base, which is a surprise. No, moving the constructor to go deal with that. Pretty identical build orders here from both players. 2 cons. We just see Raxel building slightly more solars as opposed to winds that Flying Duck is building. Flying Duck, though, now choosing to expand with his commander instead, which is something that Raxel has not done. Raxel also has positioned himself slightly differently. Raxel's base is in this spot, which does technically mean he can get units out to his opponent's base technically quicker. Well, when I say base, I mean like this square. These forces have less distance to travel than this does to here. Laris is not really trading very well with each other. Just kind of looks like they're jousting, if anything, the way that they're running. Laris did 2% damage to the commander. And this one Alaris here will get some damage from Flying Duck. Will it get the radar? Oh no. Because of the short range, it makes it difficult. You need to keep it moving. But at the same time, you need it stationary in order to actually do damage because of how short the range is on it. But this scout, though, may be able to get a metal extractor. It'll be close. Nope. Oh, just manages to get metal extractor. Neither player going into 1.5 metal. Sticking with the tech 1, also not expanding to the other spots here. Just focusing on the triples. Flying Duck also missing that one there. Now we're at minute 4. And both players have been aggressive to each other. And not verbally, of course, but in game. But Flying Duck will be the first one to lose a constructor, and that will be a big impact. Slowing down Flying Duck's expansion drastically. Meanwhile, Raxel able to defend solidly here. And meanwhile, those 3 guys managed to make it around the back, dealing a substantial blow to the energy production of Flying Duck. Hope that they're still alive at the moment. And a lot of lost windmills there. 2 metal extractors also lost. At the same time, they're trying to get an LLT here. I don't think that'll be enough now to kill that. Nope, almost though, with 2% health left. If Raxel continues to be aggressive here, he does have a pretty strong spot to continue onto Flying Duck. Flying Duck has not really been able to inflict any damage, and due to missing out on this triple metal point here, he has no awareness of stuff coming around that way. Flying Duck finally getting a radar up, but now realizes there's a huge chunk of units directly outside of his base that he desperately needs to defend against. He's hoping it's scouts, but it's not. And this is the thing with Alaris, they don't do that much damage, but their alpha is pretty high. And this is where it becomes a problem, because with enough of them, they just one-shot stuff. And this is the sort of raid that you don't really come back from. And all it took was 6 Alarises to manage to get into the back line. And yeah, see, Flying Duck knows that. He's now too far behind and calls the GG. So that's what I was speaking about. All it takes is a small raid like that, one well-played raid, and it just puts you in such a position that you know you're not going to come back from it. And that is very much a typical 1v1. And as we move on to the next Flip. We're now on Ravaged Remake with both of the same players, Flying Duck and Raxel, but this time we see Raxel has chosen to go Armada rather than Legion. Did I just see a... Oh, okay. So now Raxel here using a pretty cheeky move. His commander with a decent sized build range is able to build some titles here. Titles generate 21 energy. We actually see Flying Duck doing the same on this side. Flying Duck already with 3 titles by only going for a single metal extractor first. This is an interesting move considering, as we mentioned before, Legion produces far less metal than the normal metal extractors. Only so many titles that Flying Duck is going to be able to build though before he runs out of room. We see Raxel here going for tick, cons, and then pawns. Flying Duck now moving on to metal extractors with 2 cons and then 1,000 goblins. Knowing that he doesn't have enough metal income, choosing to keep the con here to assist with its build power is needed, as he needs more metal drastically. Energy wise though, he's just like on a good spot. Goblins surprisingly deal with ticked pretty well, and it's going to be hard to attack the bases on this map because of this cliff bit up here. You kind of do need to go bot specifically for that, even though the rest of the map is flat. A couple of LLTs here will stop that push up the hill regardless of early games, that is. And when it looks like titles here, we can see a big difference between the two. There's 7 there and 5 Legion one. Legion one's producing 105E and 147E coming from Raxel. So Raxel with a lot more energy production right now, total of 186. Purely because you're getting some from Commander here with 25. Flying Duck's Commander give 25. It does. Now, Goblins versus Pawns is generally a terrible trade. You can kind of tell that by the size of the icon as well, is that the icon for Goblins is a lot smaller than Pawns. And I'm pretty sure that the ratio is like 3 Goblins to 1 Pawn. It's kind of just what I've worked out from my own like testing and playing. So Flying Duck will have his work out here. He will need to amass a decent chunk of goblins and can't treat them like pawns, otherwise he's going to lose all of them. You see Raxel here already with 7 and then 3 there, whereas there's only 7 at the front. Now if Flying Duck does secure both of these sides, which it looks like he's intending to do here with this circle over here, he will have claimed well over half the map. And if he does manage that, then Raxel will be in trouble. Raxel splitting up his forces though, moving 3 pawns around the side to start, you know, harassing the expanding con, which will work out in Flying Duck's, in Raxel's favor. Also, these pawns, I feel like pawns are quicker. 94, 35. Pawns are substantially quicker than goblins. Now, due to the numbers, goblins are able to generally get flanking damage easier. And I don't know if maces were the right call here. Goblins are pretty squishy, and going for maces isn't really going to do much. That D-gun gets a tremendous amount though. I don't remember the laser being blue on the Armada Commander. And we see these 3 pawns just making their way around. Blind Ducks Com now in maybe a bit of danger. D-gun goes off, misses everything. And Blind Duck in problems here as he's got 3 pawns just sat in his base that are now just going to destroy everything. Will get eaten though, it looks like. Yeah, gets eaten. And Blind Ducks Com just cannot run away from these bases and calls the GG.
Commander died.
So even though I thought that
Battle
the maces
ended.
weren't going to work out, versus a commander when your units are nowhere in position, worked very well. And the usage of the goblins to attack Braxel's commander was definitely not the right move. He didn't know the commander was there though. And yeah. So this is an example of how, you know, one mistake or one mismove in a 1v1 can get you killed. Not all matches end up like the ones you see on the channel normally. So I just wanted to showcase some of these sorts of matches so that if you run into this sort of a situation yourself, don't feel too bad. Even the top players have these sorts of games. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.